Hi Gemini, it's Jenny Fitterer here with your March Tarotscope. I have a single card for you for the month of March. The first 2/3 of the month is Pisces season, then we'll have the equinox, and that will begin Aries season, which will be the start of a new energetic year. So the card that I have for you is, we've got the moon reversed. So this is the way it looks the right way up. So we have this nice big moon here, and it's over top of this urban cityscape. There's like a couple little tiny dogs or wolves here. There's like a lobster or something, and it's big kind of swooping red orange swoop up into the sky, and it came out upside down like that. Okay, so we're going to see what the moon has for you this month. Okay, here we go, Gemini. The moon. Deliverance. The moon represents the collective unconscious and oceanic feelings. The full moon will lure hidden instincts into the open with the potential to shake us up emotionally. Do not lose courage. Perhaps we are gripped by emotional tension that we can't quite fathom. There is a danger of getting too absorbed in our vacillating moods. Instead of putting ourselves in the picture, we hide in the big city jungle, howl at the moon like the dogs or wolves seen at the bottom left of the card, or become petrified like the big towers. This is an opportunity for empathy to deepen. We feel at one with all living beings, as we are equally at home in the past, the present, and the future. This card conveys the promise of integrating that which has been formerly suppressed and transmuting the spiritual distress into the uplifting, artful realms of the soul. The tedium of the everyday will be transformed into real fulfillment. Practical advice: accept your intense emotions as a reality that wants to be lived, just like any other aspect of your being. Then you may safely swim about in the deep waters of your psyche. Be at peace with yourself and with the world. Open up your heart and cease to be self-absorbed. Okay, Gemini, so this card coming up, the moon, like it says, this is often very, very big feelings. So because this is a major arcana cards tend to be kind of overarching themes, and also kind of long-standing. So this is one thing that the moon isn't necessarily just going to be a 1 month sort of thing. And it also isn't necessarily just going to be you. So it doesn't have to mean that the moon means that you are going to personally be swamped with a lot of emotions, but it may mean that around you, and including you, collectively, there may be a lot more emotion coming up that you are part of. So the moon being connected with tides and ocean, you might be feeling tidal waves and tidal ebbs and flows in your emotional state and those around you. So this is sort of, because that's going to bring out some things and bring them up into the open, there can be a sense of overwhelm, especially when we think of rising tides. Like, we're like, oh, I've got some emotions. Oh, it's okay. Oh, there's a lot. Oh, this is coming. Oh my God, I don't know if I can stay above them. There can start to be this panic when emotions come up, and it can be really frightening. And so, it's saying, have courage. You can swim. You will survive your emotions. But also, because we're thinking of tides to do with the moon, it's going to come up and it will recede. And then it will come back up again. And then it will recede. And this is a flow that happens all the way through our lives, but this might be a bit more present this coming month. So it's a really helpful thing to learn how to integrate at all of those stages. So to not pick your favorite and then, you're either, I love having huge emotions, and when it's not that emotional, I get kind of bored, or like I'm really scared of emotions, I really just like it to be really flatline. If we find one thing that we want that to be our peak state, and that's what we long for, we're only going to get it a few times, and all the rest of the times we're going to be dreading the state of being. So trying to integrate all of the stages of tidal emotions is a really, really helpful way to not either be in suppression or to be living in fear and resistance to all of those states that are not your one kind of decided moment of enjoyment. So this is, and it really does start with acceptance. That is one of the key parts of this card, is accepting the fact that all of these states of emotions are just another thing. They're just another part of life. They're just another experience to have. And once you can accept that, you're able to tread water and swim, and also experience that experience the gifts that are only available at each stage. High tide allows certain things that you can only experience at that point, and low tide, you can only experience certain things that are accessible at that range. So in high emotion, low emotion, and high intensity, low intensity, each of those have their own experiences and qualities that if you can get excited for and learn to appreciate and look forward to each of those moments the same way that you can learn to appreciate what's only available in certain seasons, it allows so much more joy in all of your stages of your life, and also empathy. This card is reminding that anytime we have intense experiences, we can petrify, we can be in resistance, we can suppress, or we can build empathy. Empathy for other people who experience intense experiences, and patience and grace for ourselves. It can be a closing thing where we hide, or it can be an open thing where we now choose to connect with others. So this particular season, Pisces season, is really, really sensitive. This may be for you a heightened emotional sensitivity, which is part of Pisces season. Pisces as a sign is a water sign and is deeply emotionally sensitive to everybody, all the energies around. So this makes sense that you would be feeling a bit more heightened emotion, and you can lean into that as a really excellent way to build empathy. Pisces is very, very empathetic. And so if that's done with some boundaries and moderation, then it can be a really, really excellent thing. So lean into that, lean into the emotions that may come up for you, lean into the ability to connect with others in their emotions during this season, the first 2/3 of March in particular. And then we're going to have Aries season. And Aries it's a fire sign. It feels quite different from this moon energy. But we can really think about the fact that we're kicking off and starting a new season. So the moon, we think, of lunar cycles are roughly about a month long, but we're also just, when we think of the moon, it's a really helpful way to lean into the concept of cycles at all. So we have annual cycles, we have the seasonal cycles, we have personal cycles, hormonal cycles, we have week cycles, and so the Aries starts out a whole new astrological cycle, because that's the start of the energetic year. So we're starting a new cycle in that sense as well. So this is, and with that, a new initiation, Aries season has a lot of enthusiasm, brightness. This might feel like a breath of fresh air after feeling like you're going through these tidal flows through the beginning of March. Aries is like, a kind of spark and fire that warms us, and that might be when we start to feel a little bit more settled and integrated. Doesn't mean that our ebbs and flows in our cycles are suddenly going to flatline and we won't have them, but we'll have a bit more confidence. Aries is certainly quite confident. So it'll just have a little bit more ease and integration at that point. So that's what's coming up for you this month, Gemini. So just as a recap, the first 2/3 of the month in Pisces season, heightened emotional sensitivity, heightened emotions for yourself, but also awareness of others, which might be really scary. You might want to contract, or you might want to avoid and suppress or laugh it off. But there's also a really excellent chance to build into greater empathy and grace for yourself and empathy for others. And then once we have Aries starting off the new energetic year, that's a kind of bright new energy, and that's also going to bring a little bit more confidence and enthusiasm to really feel like we can integrate whatever is being learned in these more kind of tidal cycles of the moon energy here. So that's what's coming up for you this month. If you want any additional support, the Pisces Season Pay What You Can workshop is up and available on the YouTube channel. Because Pisces season starts in February, and February is Black History Month, I've chosen instead for the Pay What You Can donations to go to me. They're going to an organization in support of Black History Month. So the link for that specific donation will be in the description of the video. So do check out that video, donate generously, and then you'll get the extra support, the extra tarot reading, the more information on some of the transits that are happening, and there are some significant transits happening in March. So yeah, I'd love for you to use that resource. Thank you so much, Gemini. I wish you all of the best, and I will see you next month.